Imagine, if you will, a bedroom. The bed is well made, the lamp on the nightstand is on, the drawers are all closed, and all the furniture is in its place. The shades are drawn, and the window is closed. The house is silent, still, calm. Everything is normal. Everything except the blood dripping from the walls and the body lifeless lying still on the floor. There is no witness, no suspect, not a clue in sight. Nothing except for the blood. You might ask yourself, how is blood splatter a clue? Well, in this TED Talk, we will show you how the physics of blood are used to solve crime and bring criminals to justice. Okay, so we got our demonstration ready. We got our setup. We got some fake blood. Got some tools to demonstrate what kind of splatters we're going to do, which our topic is the physics of blood splatters. Why we picked that topic? When we were researching, it was around October. You know, I thought we would get into the Halloweenish spirit. You know, blood. But yeah, we got that ready. So we're just gonna soak a wet sponge in some fake blood I made. I got the consistency just right for some realistic blood effects. And it really looks like blood too. So I'm gonna soak up the fake blood in the sponge so I can get that all ready. And I got this knife here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the knife through the sponge. Yeah? And then bam! Look at that. You see the direction of the blood splatter? It's one straight line. You got some thin ones over here, some thick ones. You can see like the force of the blood splatter. That's pretty cool. Yeah? Alright, we're just going to take this down. Get a fresh sheet. Maybe let's say, you know, the murderer wasn't using the knife or anything. He was using the hammer. You know? That could cause some problems. So what I'm really going to do is I'm going to smash the sponge and see how that splatters. Oh yeah, should probably lower that. Alright, let's see what it can do. Okay, wow. Nothing. Alright, so I'm just gonna... There. That's what's known as a contact splatter. That means like a physical object hit it and just smeared blood. You see that empty space? That's where I hit it with the hammer. It created an indent. So that's why it's looking like that. You can see it's not really like spread out, it's just, you know, a splatter. Alright, so...
The physics of blood splatter. First of all, what is it? Bloodstain pattern analysis, otherwise known as BPA, falls into the category of forensic science. Analyzing bloodstain patterns uses different ideas taken from biology, mathematics, chemistry, and physics. Let's focus on the physics for now. Blood is an example of a non-Newtonian mixture because it contains corpuscles and other suspended particles. The corpuscles can deform and become preferentially oriented so that the viscosity decreases to maintain the flow rate. High viscosity equals low flow rate. The bigger the pressure difference, the faster the flow. The radius of the pipe makes a large difference to the flow rate. The definition of viscosity is the state of being thick, sticky, and semi-fluid in consistency. Due to eternal friction, different bloodstain patterns. There are many different patterns in the way blood lands. There are three distinct blood stain patterns: passive stains, transfer stains, and dynamic stains, also called projected or impact stains. Passive stains include drops, flows, and pools, and typically result from gravity acting on an injured body, like blood dripping on the floor from a bloody nose. Transfer stains result from objects coming into contact with existing blood stain and leaving wipes, swipes, or pattern transfers behind, such as bloody shoe print or a smear from a body being dragged. Impact stains result from blood projecting through the air and are usually seen as spatter, but may also include gushes, splashes, and arterial spurts. The velocity of the object also affects the type of stain. Low velocity blood spatter, produced when blood travels less than 1.5 meters per second. Medium velocity blood spatter, when blood travels between 1.5 meters per second and 7.5 meters per second. That would be blunt force trauma. High velocity blood splatter, when blood travels more than 30 meters per second from a gunshot or explosive.
The main focus in BPA related to physics is in the techniques of analyzing the blood. One of these techniques is stringing. Stringing is when many strings are attracted to blood stains and travel to the projected area of contact. There are many computer programs today that take the actual string out of this technique, making it easier to process. Stems and satellites help to show the angle and the direction of the blood falls. Different blood stains have different shapes, some simple circles and other long ovals. These shapes depend on the angle in which the blood hits the ground. Let's take a look at the degree of blood in a little more depth. Being able to figure out the angle at which the blood hits the ground is very useful for when you don't have one of these charts to look at. To sum it all up, physics is an important part in blood pattern analysis. There are three main types of blood patterns: passive, dynamic, and transfer contact blood stains. Physics becomes most important in BPA when stringing the blood stains. This let us know where the point of contact was. There are different angles at which blood hits the ground. A formula can be used to find the exact angle. The velocity of the object also affects the types of stain. Low velocity blood spatter produced when blood travels less than 1.5 miles per second. Medium velocity blood spatter produced when blood travels between 1.5 and 7.5 miles per second. High velocity blood spatter produced when blood travels more than 30 miles per second.
Blood splatter. Now, my peers have done a great job of showing you the physics behind it, what happens when it hits the wall, what all that sort of nature. My job is to tell you the importance of blood splatter. Obviously, this isn't important to everyday people. It's very important to people going into criminal investigation and forensics in college, because this is going to be their job. They're going to have to go to bloody crime scenes, and as analysts, they have to first look at the patterns made by the bloodstains, the size, the shape, distribution. Say there was a bloodstain right here. Is it one big? Is it like one central bloodstain, or is it just distributed all across different spots? That sort of thing. They have to look at that, where they are located, on the wall, on the floor. Is it like high on the wall? Is it on the lower part of the wall? They have to take into account the texture of the surface that it's on and other factors. And this is their job, is to interpret those patterns and use that data for the reconstruction phase of the process. They also use the direction and angle of the blood to pinpoint where the altercation that caused it to begin. Typically, they use string. They use a string to create trajectories, and back from the individual drops to the region of origin. Then this process tells the analyst where the bloodshed began, so like where it happened and when it started. You see, it's important for these people because they're going to be sent to these crime scenes and they're going to have to find a suspect. So they have to interpret it correctly. That's why it's important, because it's the difference between finding the villain or him being free. Okay. Now that we've concluded on our TED Talk about blood splatter, we'll be leaving that part of the crime scene, but we'll be going to the other part. Fingerprints. That's right. Our next TED Talk installment will be discussing the physics of fingerprints and their importance of fingerprints. You see, fingerprints, as you can see, they look the same on everyone, but there's so many differences that you can't see with your own eye, and these are very important. You see, at a crime scene, if fingerprints are left and the person who committed the crime is already in the system, the fingerprints match, and it solves the crime a lot faster. Fingerprints will be discussing the differences between person to person, how important they are, whether it's at a crime scene or in everyday life, and we'll be talking about fingerprints.